Hi guys, and welcome to today's tutorial. In today's tutorial we're going to look at two case studies, and two case studies are going to look at the different settlements that you can find. One inside Ireland and one is outside of Ireland. So one is in the River Rhine, it's a settlement that we can find along the River Rhine, and the other one is the case study of the River Shannon, and we're going to look at the different settlement that you can find along the River Shannon. Okay, so we're going to look at the first case study, and the first case study we're going to look at is Navan. Okay, so Navan is in County Meath, and we're going to look at the case study of Navan. So we're going to look at the case study of the River Rhine, and the first thing that you need to know is that the source of the River Rhine, so the source, is found in the Swiss Alps. The next thing you need to know is that the mouth of the river Rhine, so the mouth is where it enters where the sea enters into where the river enters into the sea, and that can be found as it enters the North Sea in Rotterdam. So in Rotterdam, the River Rhine flows through 4 countries. So it flows through 4 countries. And these 4 countries are Switzerland, France, Germany, and then at the end in Holland. The next thing you need to know is that the River Rhine is a major transport link. And it's used for importing and exporting of many different goods throughout the river. In Switzerland, in Basel, you have the River Rhine, and it's got a port, and it's actually Switzerland's biggest port. Okay, so Switzerland's biggest port is along the River Rhine. So say biggest port, that's in Basel. Okay, so now that we've learned some facts about the River Rhine, I want to show you where it actually the route that actually takes. Okay, so it starts off, like we said, in the highlands of Switzerland, and it flows through 4 different countries. So it goes through Switzerland, then it goes into Germany, then it goes into France, and then it finally finishes up in Netherlands. And what you'll find is along the route of the River Rhine, you'll find loads of big cities and towns and lots of settlements. And the reason for this is because we know from looking at OS maps, and we know from looking at population and now looking at settlement, that you always get settlement along rivers, because in the past rivers was very important to people because they were used for transport. They were a source of water, they were a source of food by catching the fish, they were a place where people could go and wash themselves. So rivers were very important to people in the past, and this is why settlement usually began and started up along rivers. And now, because those cities then and the settlements have gotten bigger, they've turned into big urban areas such as towns, cities, and some even like quite large cities, and some of the largest cities in Europe. At Duisburg up here, it's where the River Rhine meets another river here. It's a tributary, which is called the River Ruhr. And in the valley of the River Ruhr, it contains Europe's largest coal fields. So just here is the world's largest coal fields. And however, and obviously the coal fields is obviously quite a lot of importance to Germany, because they can sell it and export the coal. The coal has been exhausted. Okay, so they have taken all the coal, and there has been quite a lot of environmental damage being caused because of all the pollution that was caused in Duisburg, in this area in Germany. So, but today they still actually produce many chemicals, steel, and cars in this region because of all the coal that they had. Another thing that I want you to notice is when the River Rhine as it passes through Holland, Netherlands, at this point here, at the mouth of the river, where the river meets the sea, is considered to be one of the world's greatest ports. Okay, and it's an entrepôt port, and an entrepôt port basically means that it's where goods are stored in a warehouse, and until they're needed in other parts of Europe. Okay, so basically lots of goods are stored in this port up here, and when different countries in Europe need those parts, then they will be shipped out and transported out to the necessary companies. Alright, the next one we're going to look at is settlement along the River Shannon. So the River Shannon is in Ireland, and it's Ireland's longest river. Okay, so Ireland's longest river, so let's put that in, Ireland's longest river. And it has attracted lots of settlement along the River Shannon. And again, it's down to the past, because rivers was very, very important to people back in the past, because for transport, for food, for water supply, for fresh water supply, for washing, for cooking, they needed to have water in abundance, and this provided them with a lot of water to meet their needs. Two towns that have developed along here as market towns would be Carrick on Shannon, and the second one would be Longford. Okay, so Carrick on Shannon and Longford. And they developed as market towns. So their main function was to be as a market town. As market towns. At Shannon Bridge. So at Shannon Bridge. It's a resource-based settlement, and basically this is used for the peat burning the ESB power station. So you have the peat, which is burning ESB power station. Another town that we can find, a big town along the Shannon, is in Athlone. And in Athlone, the main function of Athlone would have been a defensive role, because it was a crossing point. So if they were getting under attack, they were able to cross over, and it also meant that it was just easier to have access to both sides. But it's now more of a centre for tourism and for education. So it's still quite a big town, but it's not for defence anymore, or a crossing point. It's more for tourism and education. Another function of the River Shannon and why settlements have developed along here, because there's a lot of tourist attraction. So you get a lot of tourism. Okay, so boating activities happen along the River Shannon, such as Carrick on Shannon. But you've also got lots of boating activities on Loch Derrick and on the River Shannon. So boating activities. We have Limerick is also on the River Shannon, and in the past Limerick's main function would have been defence again, just like Athlone, but it's definitely changed. It's a multifunctional city. It's got lots of functions such as tourism, educational because of the university, it's an industry as well. There's lots of industry you can find in Limerick, and commercial. Okay, there's a lot of commercial around Limerick. It's grown into a very big city. So as you can see, this is the route that the River Shannon takes, and the sources can be found up in County Cavan. And then the mouth is all the way down, down here, which is down at Limerick. Okay, so the source is up in County Cavan, and it goes all the way through Ireland, down and finishes at Limerick. As you can see, there's lots and lots of towns and cities that has developed along the River Shannon. And this is because, as we said before, looking at the same as River Rhine, people like this to be set up beside rivers because it provides fresh water, provides food, a source of food. It's good for transport links, and it was good for defence in the past as well. So there's many reasons why these towns and cities have developed along River Shannon. Okay, so that's it for today's tutorial on settlement. We looked at two case studies, the River Rhine and the River Shannon. You just need to know why towns and cities have developed and why settlements have developed along two case studies. So one is the River Rhine, which is outside of Ireland, and one is inside of Ireland, the River Shannon. And basically just know what towns have developed along the River Rhine and the River Shannon, and why that they have developed along the River Shannon and the River Rhine. If you liked the video, if you found it useful, can you leave me some feedback in the comments on YouTube, and you can find more videos on the website examvision.ie, and you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at examvision for you. Thank you.